Happy Friday, sports fans, and welcome back to FNN Sports Take with me, Kasey Hudson. Friday can only mean one thing nowadays. That means we are one day closer to Sunday football all over again. But we know you don't have to wait for football to only take place on Sundays. Week 2 basically kicked off last night. Bengals versus the Browns. But before we get into that, these are going to be the matchups heading into week 2 of this week already. Let's see how your teams are going to, add up this week. Are your teams looking like they're in a good position? Are your teams looking like they're going to bounce back from whatever happened week 1? Are your teams going to continue a hot streak? What is going to go down with your team? Be sure to let us know in our comments. Shoot us a DM. Let us know who you're cheering on, whose jersey you're wearing, why you're wearing it, and what you think your team is going to do this Sunday if they didn't play yesterday, which takes me to my next point, Bengals versus Browns. Now, I think a lot of people had different ideas of what was going to go down between the Bengals versus the Browns. This was your result last night. Bengals fell short to the Browns 30-35. Now, mind you, if anybody watched that game last night, the Browns came out strong, obviously, but the Bengals actually had a very, very strong moment where they started to make a comeback. But, you only have so much time on the clock to make a comeback. So if you don't come out strong, you're playing against yourself majority of the time. Joe Burrow is still crushing it. He's putting up fantastic stats to be a rookie in the league, but we know that he carries a lot of maturity. He carries a lot of leadership qualities and traits already so early in his career. He's one of those unique guys that comes from college and doesn't have, that chip on his shoulder that he doesn't have more to learn, or he doesn't try to overdo the whole confidence stride and then fall short in where he really needs to mature so that he can actually make a difference in the NFL. Now, not that was particularly a dig, but that does kind of lead us into a segue into the Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who was that guy. He came out from college. He felt like he had nothing to prove because he proved a lot in college. So he OD'd on the confidence and the swagger and the attitude. And I think he realized that it kind of worked against him rather than in his favor. And he said earlier this year, the beginning of the offseason, that, this year he was going to be more quiet. He was going to learn more. He was going to keep more to himself. He was going to let his playing do all of the talking. And last night was probably the best game that the Browns have had in a long time. A lot of that is hats off to Odell Beckham Jr. He had a heck of a game. So you're starting to see that chemistry and that cohesion starting to build up for the Browns offense. So hats off to the Browns for finally getting a not messy or sloppy win under their belt. That was a very well executed game last night, but still hats off to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because they end up losing their tight end to a torn Achilles. He'll be out for the rest of the season. And other than that, like I said, Burrow has got a great head on his shoulders. The kid's going to do some big things in this league when the time is right. Now, out of the matchups for this week, you guys saw previously, 49ers tight end Kittle is out with a sprained ankle this Sunday, and the Panthers D linemen Short and Gross Matos are ruled out for Sunday versus the Bucs. Now, you guys know that we primarily cover the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this week during our press conference calls, we got an opportunity to catch up with Coach multiple times during the week. We got to catch up with some of the players, and basically, besides beating a dead horse, we got to ask them, how'd you feel about Sunday's game versus the Saints? Weren't you expecting that outcome? Of course they weren't. And, like most teams, athletes, and people say, they turn to the page first thing come Tuesday morning, because that's when the boys were back in the facilities. So Bruce Arians said that, all in all, he wasn't expecting how Sunday's game went to go that way from the way that the guys were practicing. They were practicing at such a great pace, a great level, like they were ready to handle and manage that game against the Saints. Now, no preseason, everybody has a split debate on whether that would have made a difference or not. Regardless, coach does feel like some of the fact that, that was the first time a lot of these guys were getting tackled and really feeling, that full NFL speed or getting back acclimated to tackling. He said his biggest concern going into a season without a preseason was pad leveling for his O-line and his D-line. So we know that Tristan Wirfs still had a great game on Sunday to be a rookie in this league. But, of course, some of those mistakes that could have been panned out during preseason took place in game 1, week 1. Other than that, Bruce Arians says he's still very proud of his team, and he feels like they can have a successful game this Sunday where they host the Carolina Panthers, another in-division matchup. Now, what are we looking forward to coming this Sunday? And these guys still have a lot of confidence and a lot of swagger to them. So what's keeping them, heads high, confidence high, energy high, just ready to take on this season and still predicting a successful outcome for the 2020 NFL season? I got a chance to ask Mike Evans that yesterday, and this was his response.
Hey, Mike, I was just wondering, aside from your QB situation, what is it about this team that gives you the confidence about the performance that you guys are capable of delivering this year?
Just the guys' energy. Obviously our roster is very talented, but everybody's energy. Even during the game, everybody was still very confident. It wasn't like in the past where we played the Saints and we were like, wow, we can't get anything, on both sides. This year we were like, oh, there's a couple fluke plays that happened that we felt like, and we definitely felt like we were the better team. There was a couple plays that went their way, but it wasn't like in past. It was guys were confident on the sideline, and guys came back ready to work on Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's been a good week so far, and hopefully it transfers to Sunday.
Now, obviously, energy was one of the things that we asked the guys as well as Coach Arians about, because it wasn't very loud in the Saints Stadium on Sunday. If anything, Coach Arians said he was a bit disappointed. It was almost very eerie to see or hear how little sound the Saints really put out there. So he said he definitely plans on cranking up the volume this Sunday at Raymond James Stadium. And aside from that, O.J. Howard even made a comment as far to say, look, if the energy is not there, if the noise isn't there, you got to create your own energy. You got to create your own noise. And the best part about it, especially because his name's O.J. Howard and he calls himself Juice Man, is that he said you got to bring your own juice. You've got to be the person that creates the atmosphere that you're going into. So as for creating that atmosphere and that energy, we got to ask O.J. Howard, what's going to be the deal with that come this Sunday?
Hey, OJ, two questions for you. For one, you mentioned the energy wasn't really there in New Orleans for you guys and that you guys have to bring your own juice. So being in your own stadium, did you guys kind of talk about the fact that you have to create that atmosphere, maybe even a little bit more, that you guys are going to be home?
Yeah, I think, I think a lot of guys on the team kind of understand that now, that we know how it's going to be playing without any fans. We were kind of like all, looking forward to it to see how it was going to be. The crowd noise wasn't as loud as we thought it was going to be as we had practice. So now we kind of understand how it's going to be. So I think a lot of guys already know now what it takes. And it's going to be a better opportunity for us to get going early and bring some energy for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other thing is, how much more of a role will the tight ends probably have this week, aside from blocking, even though you guys are going against a dominant back like McCaffrey?
The game plan, we got some opportunities, usually as we always do. The biggest thing for us is going to be able to take advantage of our chances and execute them when the plays are called. So we'll have opportunity to make some plays. It should be a good chance.
All right. So there you have it. The guys are going to bring the energy. Everyone should be on the same page as to what needs to go down in Raymond James Stadium this Sunday. Let us know if you guys think that the Bucs are going to make a comeback. We know that Tom Brady was ready to turn that page the minute he walked off the field on Sunday. And of course, we don't want to beat a dead horse. He's just focused on making sure that he keeps building that chemistry with his wide receivers. And Mike Evans even took responsibility for one of those interceptions. He's like, look, I was just, I thought of the wrong thing. I ran the wrong play, and I take full responsibility for that. Guys, it's football. The next biggest thing, everybody is so hung up on Coach Arians criticizing Tom Brady. Look, guys, Tom Brady, that's cool. He's awesome. He's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Call him whatever the heck you want. But at the end of the day, it's coach and it's a quarterback. It's a coach and it's a player. Let the coach do his job. I mean, if you let a quarterback like Tom Brady come in there and completely run the show, and maybe he's not, he has 20 years experience, yes, but he may not always be making the right call, or he may still have learning to do, or he does still have learning to do because he's in a completely new system and a completely new scheme for the first time in 19 years. Give it a rest. Coach Arians did what a coach is supposed to do. He coached his quarterback. I don't care if he's Tom Brady. Drop it. Now, moving forward on to other things, Rams and Robert Woods come to a 4-year, $65 million extension agreement. Congratulations to Woods. $32 million guaranteed. So we know that the Rams are really putting in work. They face off with the Eagles this Sunday, and that's going to be an interesting game because Carson Wentz is hungry for that W. But the Rams are on fire. Stick with us as we go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll break down NBA and NHL playoffs.
One of the things I love about Bass Pro is they have 3 great ways to shop.
You can head into one of their awesome stores, visit BassPro.com, or get great gear from that catalog Johnny Morris sends out. Hi, here's your package. Bass Pro Shops, where commitment, passion, and the great outdoors all come together.
Why would you shop anywhere else?
All right, guys, welcome back. So for our NBA playoff news and updates, last time we got a chance to catch up with you guys, obviously, on Tuesday. We had the Eastern Conference teams set and secured Miami versus the Boston Celtics, but we were still waiting to figure out what was going to take place with the Western Conference. And if you guys are behind the ball on the news, we know that the Nuggets fought through to make sure that they not only got to Game 7, but won Game 7. So they will be facing off with the Lakers starting tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So this is now your new Eastern Conference and Western Conference lineup for playoffs. Miami Heat versus Celtics, Lakers versus Nuggets. Now, yesterday there was a bit of a connection fit in the Celtics locker room. Miami Heat lead the series 2-0 already, and Game 3 will be tomorrow night. But as of yesterday's loss, there was a lot of angry players, but one in particular who decided to take his frustration out and everything in the locker room. A lot of yelling, a lot of cussing, basically a giant temper tantrum. They'll try to overcome that emotional night last night and fight through. They still have a chance, obviously, but they really do have to take Game 3 if they want to have any opportunity to, I don't know, not embarrass themselves any further. And aside from that, Celtics list Hayward as questionable for tomorrow night. So we'll see what takes place tomorrow between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Let us know your thoughts on who's going to be ending up in this NBA Finals. Now, for the Nuggets v. Lakers, we know that LeBron James said, look, I've got a lot of respect when it comes to this team. Not only did they fight through round 1 and they fought to get to Game 7, and now they fought to be here. So he's not underestimating them, their skill set, their talent, and their ability to pull through and persevere whatsoever. So he's excited to see how this series is going to turn out. But we know LeBron, he likes a challenge, and that means it's only lighting him up to put up more points and to do what LeBron James does. As for the NHL, we know that the last time we talked about the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning were fighting to pull through and potentially stamp their card to the Stanley Cup final. And guys, they did it. The Tampa Bay Lightning are heading to the Stanley Cup final. Game 1 being tomorrow night versus the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars were sitting there waiting to figure out who their opponent would be, itching to say the least. And then they found out last night. Now, this game went into another overtime. Tampa Bay Lightning loves the overtime games. I mean, it must be an adrenaline rush or something. Game 5, we know that they went to OT, and it was Eberle that scored that goal to put them up 2-1 in OT. But it was Anthony Cirelli that pulled it off for the Tampa Bay Lightning last night, and it was pretty amazing to watch. Now, most of you guys know, because I've expressed my distaste to it, not distaste, probably anxiety, that I can't handle shootouts, but overtime in playoffs is basically equivalent to shootouts. So there was times where I just had to shut the game off because I couldn't freaking breathe watching these guys. So many close shots. I mean, I think they had 46 shots on goal to like 20-something against the Islanders. I mean, the Islanders goalie Varlamov was absolutely amazing in that net. Some of the pucks that he saw coming and the anticipation that he had to just stop these guys from scoring was absolutely amazing. And the best part about any great series is just the respect for that these boys have for one another when, you know, they're saying goodbye at the end of the game on the ice. But all in all, probably your star of not only this series, but a lot of this playoffs. I know Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov get a lot of conversation starters going because they're amazing players. The things that they do, the way that they draw the defense up to the blue line and just confuse them, and the goals that they score and their puck handling skills, all aces. But it's a 6'6" guy on skates like Victor Hedman who just does amazing things, and he scored his 9th goal in 14 games as a defenseman. So he's got such an offensive structure to him and such an eye. And to be a lefty shooter, too, is always kind of like a unique advantage. But he's absolutely crushing it for the Bolts. And to not have Steven Stamkos on the ice and for him to be an alternative captain, he's really kind of wearing that captain hat for these guys. So big hats off to not only Victor Hedman, but Anthony Cirelli for being that guy and just clinch it for the Tampa Bay Lightning, because you would particularly want to hear or think you're going to hear a name like Pointer Cooch to pull the guys through, because we know Pointer was the one who was really doing the overtime goals. But big congratulations to Anthony Cirelli for being that guy. And you see so much trust and so much growth in Cirelli, because anytime that Cooch was down and out or Pointer was down and out, it was Cirelli that would step into those lines and help continue to create that friction that was going to make something happen out there on the ice. I'm so stoked. Tampa Bay is lighting up to have these guys head back to the Stanley Cup. Now they'll be facing off versus the Dallas Stars. And this is going to be an interesting matchup. Dallas Stars haven't seen the Stanley Cup since 2000 versus New Jersey. And the last time Tampa Bay was there was in 2015 versus Chicago Blackhawks. And that was kind of rough to watch. We know that they were kind of playing catch up in that Stanley Cup series. But this is going to be a more interesting matchup to me, because we've stepped up so much when it comes to physicality. We don't particularly have the biggest team in the league. We have, fast skaters, we have skilled skaters, but more importantly, we probably have one or two guys before this team, or maybe, to the halfway point of the year with this team. We didn't really have the physical guys. We have Eric Chernak was probably the main guy that they called their muscle of the team, but now you're seeing everyone kind of step up their physicality. And I think it's because of the additions brought to the team. Bogosian, Coleman, Goodrow, they're very physical guys, very chippy. I mean, the third line with Gord, Coleman, and Goodrow, you just see that they're strong offensively, defensively. They're fast skaters. They're very physical. They're very chippy. They cause a lot of tension out there on that ice, but it's fantastic to not only watch, but it creates so much opportunity for the Lightning. So that physicality is starting to build and grow out there, and it's not just becoming a defensive men thing or an Eric Chernak thing. It's turning into a team thing. Gord, all of them. It's Pat Maroon could be a muscle when he's feeling 100% healthy. Alex Killorn could be a muscle when he's feeling 100% healthy as well. So now that they're bringing that physicality into their game, they are bigger competitors for a team like the Dallas Stars. Because my concern with the Dallas Stars is that their captain, Jamie Benn, not only is he a skilled puck handler, and I'm pretty sure he's a lefty shooter as well, the guy is very physical, and he likes to get under your skin. And he even makes some questionable hits out there on the ice that he gets away with sometimes. So he's going to be the kind of guy that really gets under their skin and is going to try to flare up emotions. And when you flare up emotionally, you cause penalties that can hurt you and go against your team. So this is going to be a phenomenal Stanley Cup series to just watch and embrace. But again, fingers crossed for the Tampa Bay Lightning to just seal the deal on this one and take it home. We can take on the Dallas Stars. They almost lost to some teams that we would have crushed anyhow. Now for our OT game scorer, Anthony Cirelli, here's his thoughts on the emotions of scoring that goal at the end of the game last night.
Obviously that was a hell of a play by Goody to, fake backhand and get that to me. The emotion is just, so high. We worked all year. Our goal was to be playing for the Stanley Cup, and we're here now. So I think it's every kid's dream to be in this situation. So I think we're excited and we're ready to go.
We'll do two more in the media center. Steve Wino, Associated Press.
Hey, Anthony, what did you see happen on your collision with Anders Lee there, and did you think you were badly hurt at that point?
Yeah, he was just trying to stay on side there. I saw him at the last second. Obviously, it was unfortunate. Obviously I was in a little bit of pain there, but, I was fine and was able to, fortunately enough, to finish the game.
Last one up top, Arpan Basu, The Athletic.
Hey, it's a question for Kevin. I'm just wondering, now that you've reached this point.
All right, guys. So one thing that I did forget to mention is the fact that Anthony Cirelli did kind of suffer a pretty scary-looking injury in the middle of the ice when he got hit by Anders Lee, and that was a pretty big hit on him. They didn't even know he was going to come back to the game. So to not only come back to the game, pull through that injury, but to be the OT game scorer, massive hats off to Anthony Cirelli. Stick with us as we go to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we break down some MLB and some more good news for Tampa Bay.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin Clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin Clean.
The kid does have a point.
My hand is clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
All right. Now, like I said, more good news for Tampa Bay, as if Tampa Bay can handle any more good news. We have got the Tampa Bay Rays heading to playoffs. They clinched a playoff spot last night in a doubleheader sweep versus the Orioles. I struggle with saying that one. So big congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays. We know there's been so much controversy with that baseball team here in Tampa Bay, whether they were going to stick around, whether they were going to get bought out, whether they were going to move somewhere else. But we're happy to have them here, and we're happy that they're having a successful season regardless of all the COVID chaos. Now, as for upcoming games for the MLB today, starting at the top of the day or earlier, we have Nationals Marlins are getting ready to wrap up their game. Yankees, Red Sox, 7:30. And then closing out the night, we got Rangers, Angels, Giants, Athletics. So we got a full day of MLB, or at this point now, full evening of MLB. Let us know who your team is, who you're rooting on, and who else you think are going to make it to clinching those playoff spots and going all the way in this postseason. Now, as we quickly wrap things up, big shout out to the Tampa Bay teams, yes, but we want to know, who are you guys most looking forward to seeing this Sunday, and who are going to be the people that sneak in and pull off some upsets? We want to have some upset alerts. We are going to stick with these pregame shows. We will be covering the Tampa Bay Bucks this Sunday versus the Panthers at Raymond James Stadium. But before I head out to the stadium, I will do a full week 2 breakdown and my game day predictions. But I want to know who you guys think the upset alerts are going to be, because if it matches my predictions, then I don't know, maybe we'll find a way to surprise you guys, give away some kind of comment corner. But you guys know that I'm the biggest underdog cheerleader. And because I'm an underdog cheerleader, I want to have these conversations. So upset alerts, comment below, send us a DM. Let us know who you guys are ranking for week 2's upset alerts. I will do my predictions first thing Sunday morning, and then we will be bringing you full coverage of the Panthers versus Bucks game. And I will give you my prediction of who's going to take that W come this Sunday at 1 p.m. Guys, once again, happy Friday. And if it's Friday, that means one of two things. We are almost week 3 of the NFL already, which is bonkers. We're about to figure out who's winning the Stanley Cup final. We're about to figure out who's going to take the NBA finals. And then MLB is moving on into their postseason. So many sports going on, so much to be excited about. I hope everybody has an amazing, safe weekend. And per usual, stay safe, stay sane, stay kind, stay compassionate, and have a fantastic weekend, a great Sunday. And I will see you guys first thing Sunday morning.